Obviously, we got a big week of some NFL playoff slates this week. A ton of really, really good games starting Saturday. Let's kick it off with the first game this weekend. We got Broncos versus Bills. Big matchup between Bo Nix and Josh Allen. I know we got some takes in the room that we're going to touch on. But going into this game, let's start off. Who's the guy and who's the dude of this game between Bo Nix and Mr. Josh Allen? Wingo, I know you got a take on this, so let him hear it.
I'm going to take Bo Nix over Josh Allen.
Bam!
I say this because
crazy take.
Right, you look at Josh Allen, he's been putting the cape on when it comes time to playoffs. He's been dominated. Pause. But he's dominated. He's got their team pretty far a lot of the times, but they've never been able to get over that hump. Bo Nix, I think, is playing at an elite level, right? Coming from Auburn to Oregon to now the Broncos. I think they have a full, complete team. They've had some time off. There has been the curse of the team having time off, not coming back with the same momentum. But I think Josh Allen is banged up, right? He took a lot of hits last week, in the knee, the finger. He's pretty banged up. So, I see Bo Nix being able to go out there and just be dominant. Their defense on the Broncos, Nick Bonito, hometown guy down here, has been electric. Being able to rush and get off to the passer, guy that plays with speed. And overall, I just think Bo Nix is taking that next step to be now in those conversations of elite quarterbacks. When you look at the stats side by side, right, they're almost exactly similar, right? They've both thrown, I think it's 25 touchdowns each. They both have 10 or 11 interceptions. Their completion rate is about exactly the same, around that 68%. So I think, the level of play is very similar, but I think Bo Nix, he's hungry. I think Bo Nix is young. He wants to get after it. He wants to prove himself. And Josh Allen has just never been able to give her that hump. So I think, this is the time that Bo Nix is gonna take over.
Wingo, man, as again a hater of my enemies, I love to hear that. I just want to throw that out there. I love to hear that. I want nothing more than Bo Nix to outplay Josh this weekend, and I want nothing more than the Broncos to win. However, this guy is freaking scaring me, man. It just seems like it's almost like the perfect story type thing. I hate that. I hate it. I hated everything in my body. So I'm hoping you're right. Like, I want you to be correct. Like, I want Bo Nix to go out and win this game. They've got the week off, prepping purely for this game. But, Josh Allen, dude. This guy, what he did last week alone, what he's been doing, I hate his guts, but my God, it seems almost destiny, and I hope Wingo's right. So I'm going riding with Wingo, with Bo Nix, but deep down, I feel like this guy does nothing but torture me, except when we beat his ass this year, just throwing that out there. But he's done nothing but torture me for 7 years. I don't know why the torture would end now, but let's see.
Bobby, who's the dude? Who's the guy this week?
Look, here it's a beautiful storyline. It's perfect, really. The dude is absolutely Josh Allen. But the cool thing is about this sport is, everybody knows it. You want to be the dude, you got to beat the dude. Bo Nix has that opportunity right in front of him. I will also say this, Wingo. You can't talk about South Florida legends without bringing up my boy, Pat Surtain Jr.
You're right.
Come on, man. One of the best on the outside. I think the Broncos have a better overall team. They got the offense humming. The defense is obviously elite. It's been like that for a minute. They got the bye week. That's huge. Like Wingo said, the Bills, their first-round corner still out. Poyer's out. Josh Allen is hurting on the left, hurting on the right. But his cape has no holes in it. So never count out Josh Allen. I think every year he pulls the magic out the hat and comes up with something until he meets the Chiefs. And guess what? The Chiefs ain't nowhere to be found, boys. The kryptonite is sitting on the couch. So that does concern me a little bit. I do believe, though, the Broncos have everything going their way. And that week off is going to be too much, really. I think the Broncos come in and they get it done. But never count out Josh Allen.
I think this is going to be a weather game, too. I think if you're
not as much as Chicago, obviously, is going to be. But it will be cold. Obviously, elevation plays a factor when playing out there in the Mile High City. So there will be factors as far as weather. I don't know if that will be enough, considering it's Buffalo going over there. But to me, right, like, especially for the sake of this segment, dude versus guy, you saw what Josh Allen did last week, right? Gets checked for a concussion, has the knee injury, coming in with an ankle injury going to the game, hurts the hand throwing the ball, yet nothing seems to faze the guy. That guy could be he might take a gunshot wound during a game, and he might still be able to be running on the field. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't know what that guy's body's made out of.
Yeah, I mean,
That's incredible.
yeah, I mean, listen, he's banged up though, and but he doesn't stop. And again, that's what scares me, right? It's like the team of destiny vibes, and I hate it. He is really, by the way, I actually think Josh Allen's become like the NFL media darling. I think he's honestly almost, they're trying to get this guy a damn Super Bowl. They're already like, oh, he's never won. He's won in every stadium except where the Super Bowl's being played. Like, oh my God, dude. It's terrible. Like,
Damn, that is crazy.
It's like,
that is crazy.
oh my God, I just can't with this guy.
I'll give you one take. I think Josh Allen has got something to prove to Michael B. Jordan. So I think there might be a little bit of.
And that's his other kryptonite.
Holy hell.
That is a crazy.
I was trying to explain that dynamic to my wife the other day, and she was like, I don't get it. I was like, yeah, guys don't always make sense with how they go after people.
That's a good thing for you, Bobby.
Like,
That's a good thing that she said that.
yeah. But we watched that movie together. She understands the role, but she didn't get because it's her job and that's her profession. But I was like, look, when you can't actually talk shit about the guy's actual football game, you find anything. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's where it landed.
Well, do you remember when Russ, I think he went to go play in Atlanta, and they just were bumping Future in the stadium, bro?
Listen, anything to get in your opponent's head, I'm in for, dude. I think it's all fair game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I guess one last point on this game, right? Obviously, the storyline around Denver has been their defense all year. Wingo, you talked about how well Bo's playing, but Josh has had to be kind of like that superhero all year long. Is the defense of Denver just going to be too much, or is it kind of like a favorable matchup considering, the power that Josh has? Bills defense is not what it's been in the past, but it makes plays when it needs to. But is Broncos defense just too much for the Bills to handle in this game?
Yeah, so here's what I'll tell you. When I look at it, I look at Pat Surtain on an island over there, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to be able to eliminate whether or not who's going to be the factor at wide receiver that game. Is it going to be Keon Coleman, right? Is it going to be Shakir? Is it who is it going to be? Yeah. And that's the biggest question when I watch the Bills is, who is the wide receiver one? Who's going to get the ball a lot? And then how well is James Cook going to run the ball or be able to catch the ball out of the backfield? I think those are the two things that's going to determine it for the Bills. And then it's, what can Josh Allen do? I know, the defense is just, they play very complete, out there. And I think, Pat Surtain automatically being able to eliminate just one of those key factors has the opportunity is someone going to step up, right? Is Keon Coleman going to have a breakout game? Right. Is he going to be able to have, 5, 6, all these, I almost did it. But is he going to be able to have the receptions and the yards and be able to step up if one of those other receivers is shut down? And then, I think a lot of the factor falls down to James Cook, right? Obviously tremendous runner, tremendous vision, being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a complete running back. He's able to open up the playbook a lot for them. So it's going to be how well the receivers can step up with just, the Broncos defense, being able to play on all angles and, get those mismatches. That's what I think the biggest thing that they're going to be looking for is the mismatches with James Cook on the linebackers, being able to run the wheel routes on the outside, the angles, the option routes. I think, Josh Allen's got to handle business, but who's going to be the receiver that steps up for the Bills?
All right.
James Cook, another South Florida legend.
Yes, absolutely. So give me quick picks for this game. Dave, we'll start with you.
I'm going to avoid the pick, and I'm picking Bo Nix and Josh Allen to both score in this game.
Okay,
I don't know
there
what
you
the hell
go.
this game's going to be, but I think they're both getting in the end zone. Dude versus guy play.
I like it. Wingo, who do you got?
You know who I'm taking. I'm taking Bo Nix to tear it up. He's going to throw for over probably at least 320. I'm taking 2 TDs and a possible defensive score.
Ooh.
All right. Bobby?
Yeah, rolling with the Broncos. I think weather only helps that. You kind of limit Josh Allen and what he can do and how he can use James Cook. And if it turns into a physical game, we all know the Dolphins' strategy always was go into Buffalo and try to run it down their throat, and you can have success. I know Raheem Mostert always went off. HN always goes off against the Bills. If it turns into weather and even more physical, I think it helps the Broncos even more. So I'm going Broncos.
All on you, buddy.
You guys are going to hate this, but I'm going with the Buffalo Bills in this one. I'm writing that destiny story. If it's not Mahomes and it's not Lamar, I think Josh is just going to continue to find ways to win these games. I do think James Cook is going to have a big game in this game as well. I know that Broncos defense is really good, but I just think James Cook and Josh Allen combo is going to be enough for them to win games. And it's going to be close, but it's going to come down to a Josh Allen last guy with the ball in his hands. And we know what happens when Josh has the ball last. All right, next game. Let's jump into it. We got Seahawks and Niners. So we got a lot of different storylines here. One that has been floating out there that apparently got debunked yesterday in an article. But Bobby still believes it to be true. Obviously, the Niners are very, very injured right now. Kittle coming off now in Achilles injuries. There's a long list of injuries on that team. But people are thinking that the Niners practicing next to the power plant are playing a huge factor into these injuries. What are you guys' thoughts?
I obviously, like, a part of me is like, that's crazy. But then the other part of me is like, they really do get injured a lot.
They do. They've been like the most injury-riddled team in the last 3 years.
Wait a second. All right, so, do I put much into that? I don't know, but like, holy cow, like, it's either a mix of bad luck or the power plant. Those are really my two only options right now. Because, dude, this team is really good, and they just beat the Super Bowl champs. As banged up as they are, of course they lose another star in Kittle. But man, like, at this point, like, I don't know how many more guys they can lose for them to be able to, keep this dream alive.
I mean, you got to credit that, man, because they keep finding ways to win with that team. I think they had one of their linebackers, Wingo. I'm sure you could kind of speak more in depth on this than I can, but one of their guys was pulled up from the practice squad, I think, going into that game, and actually had a pretty damn good game last week.
Next man up.
I mean, you got to credit what they've been able to do with the limited, I guess, resources and, personnel on the field, considering all the injuries they've had. I think they said they've had like 7 different linebackers start for them this year. But I don't think, like, as much as injuries have riddled them, it might catch up to them, and maybe it's this week where it catches up to them, but they still keep finding ways to win. And obviously, when you have McCaffrey on the offensive side, it's like you could do anything, right? I mean, they fed him in that game. And ultimately, he's just such a big difference maker. But Seattle's good. Seattle's good, man. Seattle's good.
Yeah, I definitely give a lot of credit to that front office, right? Something of what we're trying to get down here in Miami, hopefully someday. But when you look at it, right, being on a successful team, it's about having depth and the system and the schemes that you run. You look at somebody like Mac Jones in the beginning of the year, being able to go in and command that offense and be very successful, and Brock Purdy coming back and be able to do the exact same thing and pick up right where he left off. So, that's what I look at, spreading the ball around to the different tight ends, getting the ball in Christian McCaffrey's hands, linebackers stepping up to play, that just shows what type of organization they are, over there at the 49ers. And now, that throws me right over when, the Dolphins were interviewing for GMs and certain things. There were 3 or 4 guys from the 49ers on that list, right? So now that's where I look at teams are realizing that, yes, they do have good players. Yes, they do have a lot of talent, but there's something else going on upstairs where that, organization has been able to be successful because of what they do, the depth they have, how they've been able to manage it, the schemes that they're running, and that's just them being successful. So, I think it's going to be a good game, but now kind of, what's over there on that other side with Seattle. So I'm excited to see it.
Absolutely. Hey, Bobby, real quick, too, I want to ask you, right? Sam Darnold last year takes the Vikings 13-3. They get the first-round bye last year as well. Right, there's that narrative as like, Sam Darnold has elevated his career, right? Kind of like the second phase of his career, has been successful in the regular season, but we saw what happened to him in the playoffs last year, right? It looked like he was seeing ghosts on the field, just wasn't the same Sam Darnold. I think the talent's there, but is there that narrative you think, like Sam Darnold's got to prove something this week to showcase that he can be the guy this week and to lead this team to a Super Bowl, right? Because we've seen it all year, regular season. At one point in the season, he was even an MVP candidate, right? But what do you expect out of Sam and this team going against a good 49ers team, even though depleted on defense?
Yeah, I think a lot of pressure is on, right? I mean, he's had his ups and downs. I think he's seen ghosts with the Jets, too. I think that's where that viral clip came from. Yeah. But a lot of pressure on Clint Kubiak, which we'll get into the the coaching carousel, but he's got to deliver the goods. He's got to put Sam Darnold in positions to be successful. One thing I like about Seattle is they, like the Miami Hurricanes, they don't have Sam Darnold throw the ball 35 times. They go out there, they got two-headed monster at the running back position. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play really physical defense. And Sam Darnold's going to take advantage of the opportunities he has. Obviously, JSN on the outside is a great weapon, and they use him well. I think just like the Hurricanes, you can't ask, Sam Darnold to go carry you. You get down by 10, 15. Not the best case, but I think Seahawks, could be crazy, could be laughing at me next week. I think they're different this year.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they just beat the brakes off the Niners like 2 weeks ago?
They did, yeah.
So, look, that could all go out the window. It's time to play playoff football. We know people step up and take it to that extra level, and some people don't. And Sam Darnold's got to prove that he can. But I really, much like the Broncos, that week off, healthy, things are kind of just going their way. And I believe the Seahawks will take care of business here.
Yeah, Seahawks defense has been really good this year. Obviously, they have the two-headed running back room there where it's been really, really good between Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, right?
Charbonnet, yeah.
So I think they can lean on those guys as well, especially when you have that defense that they have. And like you said, Bobby, this team feels different. It's built different than it's been built in the past. But I think, to me, this might be the game of the weekend. I'm really, really excited about this game. I think the 49ers are playing really well right now. McCaffrey's just another beast, right? And just seeing him on the field and what he's able to do compared to other people is insane. But Seattle's just been that team all year, continuing to prove people wrong, continuing to say, hey, we are legit. We belong here as one of the elite teams in the NFL. So to me, this might be the game of the weekend, but there's a lot of good games. So who do we got?
I'll go first because I think I'm kind of on the opposite end of you. I think the Seahawks are kind of going to roll. So I've got 28-14 Seahawks.
Okay.
Yeah, I
like
definitely it. My fault, Bobby. But
you're good.
I definitely think it's going to be a close game. I think I'm going to give it to the Seahawks. I think I'm going to take Seattle. 24-17.
I love that we just seen Wingo live make his decision. He was going one way and he realized, he thought about something and was like, you know what?
I was thinking
remember
about
the power plant.
I was thinking about the power
He remember, I was going to say, funny story about the power plant. Our boy, friend of the podcast, Hayden Rucci got picked up by the 49ers this week.
I saw that.
They need some tight end depth. I was like, little playoff push from the Dolphins in disaster to a little playoff ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, good luck, man. Just stay away from that damn power plant. So, no doubt. But, I'm going with Seattle. I think it's close, though. I think CMC, obviously, the Niners have been here so many times, too. They know how to play playoff football. Shanahan knows how to coach playoff football. So, I like it close. I like 27-21, 27-24. I like it close within a score, but I'm going Seahawks.
Yeah, I think people underestimate what it is like playing in Seattle. I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, it triggered a minor earthquake in the city. It is electric and loud over there. And I do think that that's going to play a factor, as well as the fact that the 49ers are depleted in the linebacker room. They have some good running backs there. And I ultimately think that that'll be a difference. And I do expect Sam Darnold. I think he's going to throw for over 300 in a little 2 TD game for him. I'm rooting for him.
Cook him.
Let's go. All right. Next lineup, we got a power heavy defense.
I can't wait for this one.
And the Houston Texans versus the guys up there in the Northeast, the New England Patriots. This is a big one. I'm
ready for this
the
one.
Texans defense, right? That's the narrative around them. And what we saw last week, 2 defensive touchdowns versus Drake May and a pretty efficient offense in New England. So I know there's going to probably be a lot of takes in this. Dave, you seem very excited, so I'll start it off with you.
I am very excited for this game. I think this game is going to be great. I've seen nothing but, first off, before the playoffs started, I picked the Texans to be the guys out of the AFC. I still believe that. I still think that defense is the best in the league. And honestly, I'll say it. I don't care. The Patriots are on fraud alert, all right? I don't think the Pats are that good. I don't get it. I don't get this team. I don't think they're that good. I get they're well coached, yada, yada, yada. I don't care. I think the Texans are going to freaking expose these guys. I'm sick and tired of this Pats narrative, and I get it. Generational hater, I know. It's all my enemies are playing this weekend. I don't care. This is one that I actually believe in. The Bills scare me. The Pats don't scare me, all right? I don't care what anybody says. I think the Texans are going to win this game. And if they don't, there's no way the Pats are getting anywhere further. I'm sick and tired of this damn team, all right? I don't think this team is good. I don't think this team is... Screw them. Like, man, fuck this team, man. I hate them. And I don't think they're good. I think they've gotten lucky and everything's fallen in their freaking perfect scenario. No, it ends here. Texans, baby. Texans roll. That defense is the best in the league.
I think they have one win against a team above 500, right? So, that's where Dave's leaning. But I see Wingo nodding his head over there in disarray, frustration, a lot of emotions over there. So, Wingo, tell Dave why the Patriots are not a fraud.
I'm honestly just looking at next week when we just get to clip that and just throw up the final score because after the way that the Patriots played this past week, they made a lot more mistakes than they normally do. That is not going to happen this week. The Patriots are a complete team. They got a bunch of guys from Wisconsin that can come in and just dominate. Their head coach, I love that guy. That's a guy that you want to play for. That organization is special. I think Drake May is going to take care of business. Last week, they were turning the ball over. They had some penalties. That hasn't been, the narrative for the whole season, right? They had a little hiccup last week. They still got the job done. This upcoming week, I almost feel sorry for them because I think the Patriots are going to come out and dominate. I think the Patriots are just, I think they're a really good team. I think they got a lot of weapons on offense. And Drake May's made a huge jump from year 1 to year 2, and I think that's going to continue to make him to be an electric quarterback in the future.
This is the Hondo Wingo Bowl, baby. I'm coming for Wingo's head, all right? Man, first of all, I know we're not doing predictions yet. I think this is going to be the most low-scoring game of all time, but I still think that I'm telling you, dude, the Patriots – like, I get it. They're not as terrible as they're making them seem, but I don't think they're as good as everyone else is making it seem. That's just my opinion. I don't get it. I don't see it. I think they're a product of some luck, and I think this Texans defense is going to lock down this weekend.
Bobby, are they overrated or are they correctly rated?
Yeah, I think Hondo made some totally rational, totally rational.
In my Dolphins polo.
Nico Collins.
No Nico Collins, right?
Well, he's in concussion protocol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, I do think that's going to play into it. That's a big part. Nico's out. Stroud, as good as the Texans look, it wasn't because of Stroud. I think Christian Kirk really came through a few times for them, made some big plays, had I think he had almost as many receiving yards that game as he did for the season.
Yeah.
So Christian Kirk really came through and delivered. And obviously when the defense is playing like that, things kind of roll your way. But I really think it was overlooked how bad the offense really played until the very end there. Mm-hmm. So CJ Stroud's got to step up for me to really believe in those boys. As good as that defense is, that's what I think is going to hold them back when it's all said and done. Because I think the playoffs really comes down to defense. But like we were saying about Josh Allen, when you have the right guy behind the wheel, a lot of things go your way. And I don't know if CJ Stroud is ready for that. But I also agree. I think I used to be the hater that go, well, look at the schedule. Look at the schedule. And then they just kept winning, and they just kept winning, and then they beat good teams. And I was like, oh, okay, the Vrabel really did turn this shit around in 1 year. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how really good that defense is. I think the Patriots have the advantage here. I do believe, I agree with Wingo, they have a more overall better team. It has been exciting, though, to see the Texans, play the way they do, send Aaron Rodgers into retirement in a neck brace, basically. So that was cool. But yeah, I think the Patriots, they're a fine old machine, and everything's clicking at the right time.
I understand what you guys are saying. That I get it, and all takes are extremely valid here, very valid. But kind of leaning on both sides here, right? Patriots, Drake May, very good. Drake May's been extremely efficient. Could make the argument that he could be the MVP, although it's probably going to be Stafford. May has definitely had a case to be the MVP of the NFL this year. But what's interesting to me, right, you look at last week, that Chargers team was in shambles. That offensive line, shambles. So it's hard to really gauge, what the Patriots can do against a defense like the Houston Texans. To me, what it's going to come down to is Stroud had 3 turnovers last week. If he plays like that, they have 0 chance of winning this game. But if Stroud is efficient, takes care of the ball, and they just run the ball and he's able to be efficient, maybe a guy like Nico Collins comes into the fold and their offense can kind of be as fully healthy as possible in this game, I really do think that Houston can go in there and win that game. That defense really is just at another level, can score, can force turnovers. Can they rattle Drake May in this environment where he's never really kind of played at this caliber of a game, although it is at home for them? I do think that Houston can go in there and shock people, and I could see this game being like a 23-20 type game and just enough. I do think there's going to be scoring. I do not think it's going to be like a 6-3 game.
Wait till you get to my prediction.
I do think that there will be enough scoring. It will be a lot of defense. There will be 3 and outs. But I do think Houston is actually going to win the turnover battle, and that's going to be the difference in the game.
Yeah. If we're doing predictions, I'll jump right
roll
in.
into it. Yeah.
I actually got something for you guys before we go into predictions.
Oh.
I got a team photo from Houston Texans practice this week. I don't know how accurate this is, but this is the photo I got.
My Raptors, baby! They're my Raptors, and that's
the Houston defense going to work right there.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's so good.
Raptors with machine guns. I know, man.
They're coming, baby. Those are my Texans, and that's
Shout
why.
out Lou, baby.
Yes, that is why my score is going to be 3-0. Houston Texans win this game. All right, I don't care. No, they're going to first off shut out the Patriots.
We're going to get so many clips out of next week.
They're going to shut. And yeah, the offense doesn't even need to do anything. Guess what? The 3 is going to be off a pick that they're going to return to the 5-yard line, and Houston's going to kick a field goal. That's what this game's going to be. I think. Listen, I saw somebody post in the chat that Houston playing in the cold. The one thing that does travel is defense.
Yep.
Defense travels. All right. I don't need a high-scoring game. If this is a high-scoring game, I'm losing. All right. I'm going to throw that out there right now. But if this is a low-scoring game, give me the Texans, man. I swear to God, it's going to be 3-0 Texans.
All the memes and all the clips that we're gonna have of him, he's gonna have to be the dude of the week next week. Terrible.
Well,
Bring it on.
Joe Robbie just commented that he's going to be living on freezing cold takes next week. So.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'll tell you what. The chat agrees with me. There's a poll going around. They say Pat's overrated 71% of them. So, listen, let's go chat, baby. The Hondo Hive is building.
Oh my God. Look, I do. First of all, let me say that I'm gonna give my prediction, but I want to stop and say this real quick, boys. We're having fun, dude. This is awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That we definitely are.
Pooch, you are absolutely in your bag. Chat, make sure you're showing Pooch love.
Oh, yeah.
Pooch, you are working, my guy.
Yes.
You are working. Dude, the
Everyone
dinosaurs,
spam
I was
Pooch
not prepared.
in the chat.
Yes,
Listen, man, outside of Wingo's comment getting stuck, dude, we've had a good time back here. I don't know how that happened. It's a glitch in the system. We're still working out the kinks. We're getting some oil. Oil in the gears. First show go around, but it's been smooth, man. It's fun back here. It's fun, locked in. Get to do a couple fun things back here, but it's a blast. I'm having a lot of fun.
You're doing awesome, dude. This is so awesome.
Yeah.
But with that being said, into the prediction. Yeah, I like the Patriots. They're at home, and then they got a better overall team. I really do. And I don't think their defense is bad. So, no. I know we're stuck on the Texans defense, but, Christian Gonzalez is going to be good. He's out of the red no contact jersey. Looks like he's going to clear concussion protocol. He's a dog on the outside. Those boys are humming up front, too, for them. They got some dogs in the middle. So I think they got enough, and then they got the offense to go with it. I think they got the offense the Texans don't have, and especially losing Nico Collins, the worst thing they needed right now. Yeah, I like the Patriots this week.
I like it. All right, house divided here. Next game and last game, another epic game. We got the Rams versus Bears. You want to talk about weather? The weather in Chicago is absolutely absurd. I don't know if you guys have seen some of those videos. Obviously we're down here in South Florida, so we don't experience snow. We experience hurricanes. What's happening in Chicago looks like a winter hurricane, basically. It's insane. I don't know if that's what's going to be like on game day. I hope not, because I don't know how that's playable. But, dude, that weather's going to be a factor in that game. So I guess I'll lead off. Go, Bobby. Shoot.
Before we get into it, though, can we all agree, though, that last week was false advertisement? And I think I have a lawsuit claim. They posted all those videos of the blizzard and the snow. And somehow when kickoff came, there wasn't a drop anywhere. It was like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
I think they definitely lean into that. And I think something similar. I think they're projecting like minus 10 degrees come game time.
We've been colder.
Yeah, we have. Kansas City, baby. And about 20-mile-an-hour winds. So obviously wind chill effect will be a factor as well. But I don't think any snow or any heavy snow is going to be a play. But I guess like the big question obviously in this game, obviously Rams, electric kind of comeback win last week against the Carolina Panthers, which shout out Carolina Panthers, bro. 10.5-point dogs at home. The level of disrespect that they gave the Carolina Panthers, and they held their own. Bryce Young held their own. Like, shout out them, man. A lot of exciting things. I'm not a Carolina Panther fan, but I think it was just disrespectful what they did to them last week.
Yeah.
Rams obviously came out with the victory either way. But going into this game, Rams are Southern Cal team, play in the Dome. How are they going to fare in Chicago? Caleb Williams, obviously coming off a monster, also comeback win in Chicago, massive comeback. So, Wingo, what do you think of the Rams going into Chicago, weather being a factor, and the dynamic of, kind of, the OG versus new school, right? We got the OG and Sean McVay and Stafford, and then new school and Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. It is a pretty dope narrative going into this game.
Yeah, exactly. And you're asking how LA is going to go in there and be dominant. They're not. Matthew Stafford is getting old. I think, when you look at it, playing in that type of weather, people say that weather's not a factor, but I think it definitely is. I think Caleb Williams is going to get after it. Ben Johnson, he's been doing an amazing job. I saw the press conference after, Caleb Williams giving the game ball to Ben Johnson, the way that team's bought in and is just, built to win now, right? It's great to see that offense and Caleb Williams take charge of that. And then you look at a guy like Matt Stafford. Don't get me wrong, Matthew Stafford is complete. He is the guy. He's been my fantasy quarterback all season long. He has been dominant. I think he's an MVP candidate. But, I just think playing in that weather is going to be a big factor. The Bears defense has been playing pretty well. Keenan Allen, it's great to see him out there again, but can he kind of play in that same kind of weather? And I just think overall the Bears are going to, finally get over the hump, get into that next level of play and move on from this game. I think they're going to finish off with another win and another game ball. This time, Ben Johnson now giving it to Caleb Williams.
I cannot wait to clip Wingo after this one, baby. All right, I'm rolling with the Rams partially because my last remaining future bet that I took months ago is the Rams. I think the Rams have been, my opinion, probably not. You can say the Seahawks, right? I think the Rams have been just as good as them in terms of probably the best team in the NFL. I agree with Wingo, though, in terms of the weather does scare me a little bit, and the fact that the Bears just can't lose. Like, they win in such ridiculous ways. Yeah. And the Rams, I mean, you saw against the Panthers, if they're playing a little tight game there or see the Bears coming back, I'm going to be a little nervous, but I'm still rolling with the Rams. I'm rocking with Stafford. I think this is his, I don't know if it's send-off here because I don't know if he's retiring or not, but in terms of, dude, he should be the MVP. He can go off into the sunset with another Super Bowl, 2-time Super Bowl winning MVP. I think it's almost a perfect story. So I'm rocking with the Rams, and partially biased, I've got a future on them. So I need them to win, all right?
I've always been taught to never gamble or bet on emotion, and
that's all I do, Wingo.
Yeah.
That's literally actually, if you look up the definition of gambling with your heart, there's a picture of me right next to it. And so I can't help myself. I do it, and I roll with it, baby. That's just me.
Wingo and David have this Jekyll and Hyde dynamic going on.
100%.
Yeah.
Bobby, what are your thoughts? Obviously, we got Wingo over here saying Stafford's going to freeze out there. He's the MVP most likely. What do you think?
Yeah, as Dolphin fans, we kind of got to show some respect to that cold weather thing. When you're not used to it, it does change things. I do think that the Rams were, like David said, one of the few juggernauts of the year. They lost people in times and nothing really changed. They just kept rolling. I think they've been here before. Having Stafford, a guy that's been at the wheel so long, seen so much, I mean, that helps a ton. McVay's been there, Super Bowl champion. It helps a lot. But on the other hand, the Bears came out and kind of got slapped in the face a little bit. I think they've had their dose of reality check, and they're kind of ready now. So I think this will be a very good game. I think it definitely helps being in cold weather to help the Bears a little bit there. And they're kind of locked in now because they realize that they're not untouchable and teams can get up on you quick and they dodge that bullet. Obviously, respect to Caleb Williams. He's impressed me. I think I thought that kid was a bust, and he's overachieved by a large margin.
Absolutely.
Him and Ben Johnson have been special. What Ben Johnson has been for that kid is amazing to watch. So excited to see that some more. I'm going to go with the Rams, though. I think the Rams do, as much as we don't want to admit it, have a good physical style play. I mean, they got 2 running backs like the Seattle Seahawks that they can lean on if they need to. They got tight ends. They can get nasty. They can get heavy set on you. So I like the Rams, but yeah, I think it'll be a good game, though.
Yeah, I saw some comments in the section saying that this might be the game of the weekend too. So
Yeah.
I definitely can see that. But before we and I'll give my pick real quick too. Dave, man, is got to head out here. So
Yes.
Dave, appreciate you. We'll be
Yes.
having Joe come in very shortly to come in as our 4th here. But
Yes. No, yeah, before I head out, 1, go Rams. 2, this has been awesome, boys. Can't wait to do this every single Friday. If you're tuning in, keep tuning in. These boys are going to keep cooking. I unfortunately got to leave early today, but, let the boys cook. Guys being dudes. It's been an awesome first episode. I love chopping it up with the boys.
let's go.
Later, everybody.
David, when you get to that office, make sure you get on and start, working the live chat. Buddy.
I'm going to be driving.
You're still on the clock.
Maybe
You're still on the clock.
I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to be driving, watching, commenting. Who knows? But hey, guys being dudes, episode 1. Let's freaking go.
Let's go. I'm going to throw my pick in here real quick as Dave's kind of heading out. I do like the – ooh, wow, you just zapped the shit out of me. I do like the Rams this weekend for the sake of winning. I think the veteran in Stafford is going to be enough to kind of find a way to win. Sean McVay is a beast of a coach. Ben Johnson is doing a hell of a job this year. But when you're going against the OGs and the new schools, you got to go and find a way to win, and that's why I got the OGs this time around. But I am actually rooting for the Bears to win. So either way, I'm locked in and excited for that game. I do agree that this might be the game of the week.